Hey, everybody. Sorry we're a little bit late, but we're just coming up on the 2-minute warning. I want to welcome everybody who's watching at this time, this freaking cardiac game that we're having right now. Oh, brother. Jim, I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. I know this is going crazy as Winston drops back and cannot hold on. That takes us to 2:01 by my stream. I'm watching live on YouTube on Sunday Ticket. So hopefully that will get better. Is this not crazy or what? We had at least a 3-score lead, if not 4. Well, 3 total, but here we go. What is this all about? Huh? What is this all about? Crazy. When's Murphy, illegal use to the hands. That is crazy. Here we go. We're at 2-minute warning. I want to thank everybody that's joined us. We have Jason T. Yeah, Jason, let's hold on to it. Oh, you betcha. The beautiful, wonderful Miss Mary. Sean, SKOL. Let's hold it, Sean. Let's hold it. Everybody's saying hi. That's how a team plays every week. It's going to be fun. It's a heart attack game. Yes, it is. Justin's joining in the remarks because he can't join via video. Justin, yes, let's go. And speaking of let's going, it's 2-minute warning, so let's hit the rolling. Welcome to Vikings First and SKOLs, live at the 2-minute warning. Next. And here we go. I got 2 screens going. Don't need 2. I'll go back to the 1. It's only me here at the moment. Jonas will be joining us. He wanted to wait till after the game. We'll see. I don't know how far behind he is in Germany, but we will find out. Insuring Derek Carr was the worst thing that Hunter could have done, Sean. I'm not so sure. But it may have been because it gave another backup quarterback and Jameis Winston a chance to come in and shine against the Vikings. We know we don't like that. So let's find out how this remaining 2 minutes goes. Now, what have you thought so far? I thought the first half was spectacular. Absolutely great. TJ Hockenson putting on a show and obviously playing hurt. He is one tough dude. I thought Ty Chandler ran well for the most part, especially in the first half. I have not looked at the box score in a second. Let's see. Ty Chandler is up to 13 rushes for 36 yards. He has been bottled up in this second. Yogi, SKOL, everyone. Yes, Yogi, SKOL to you as well. Dobbs is showing why he's going to be our number 1 after this year. Sean, first off, welcome to the show, and let's hope he improves and gets, and that may be the case. We'll find out. Having the dynamics to be able to run is a good thing. And Murphy just picked off Winston again, but there's a flag. What is the flag going to be? Hopefully on offense. Holding offense. Yes. Hey, Chris, how are you today? Andrew, good to see you here. Yes, Saints figured out QB containment at halftime. I feel like these injuries are catching up. Oh, yes. And it's just not good. Brian, why can't we just stomp out an opponent instead of trying not to lose? That we've been asking that question for eons, absolute eons. SKOL, everyone, from Chuck Litwit. Or Litwin, sorry. Nail biter. Yeah, you got that right. Yogi says we got too passive. Why isn't Dobbs running for second downs? Good question. Yes. Alejandro thinks typical Vikings coaching staff that they're blowing it. Ty Chandler gets the ball, runs for maybe 3. Let's go. Yes. Rick Long, refs to the rescue. I haven't thought the officiating is evenly bad across the board, pretty much. Jason, we can always count on Jameis to throw it to the other team. Thankfully on that one. Now that they're showing highlights, Yogi, too many touches for Madison. Madison has had 8 for 27 yards and a 3.4-yard carry, which is unusual because I saw a lot of -1s and -2s in there. But, hey, he got knocked out. He was injured, I believe, or at least bruised up. Here we go. Dobbs under center. Dobbs takes a snap, goes back, hands off to Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler comes up about a yard and a half shy of the first down. So we're 3rd and 2 with 1:30 left and the clock rolling. Yes. KP, only KOC will turn a blowout into a 1-score game. I don't know. Did Zimmer ever do that, or did Zimmer not even let it get that much of a blowout? That's a great question. Mary's poor neighbors. You got that right. O'Neal got hosed on that Chandler TD run. Yes. And there's been some bad calls. There was the one where O'Neal or Hunter got called for hands to the face. No, Hunter's helmet went flying off. Yeah, right. It's more like the offensive tackle's hand to the face. Alejandro, SKOL, brother. Welcome to the show. Gotta take a sip of a little tequila. It's been a tequila type of day. A little bit of tequila to fire up the heart for when it stops. We'll see. There's nothing more than I like beating the Saints, and I want that to happen today. Please have it happen today. Hey, just so you know, Josh Dobbs already has 268 yards passing. Not bad for the young man, even though the second half hasn't seemed as glorious as the first half was. And we're going to find out. Here we go. Dobbs back. Shotgun, takes a snap, hands off. No, he fakes the handoff and slips a whopping half-yard shy. But they're going to mark it at the line of scrimmage again. What a poor spot. You got to be kidding me. I love this turf. I can't wait till they change it out after the season. He literally trips on the turf. It wasn't even a slip. Come on. Can we change this? 4th and 2, 30 seconds less, 25, 24, 23 as they're going down. We're going to punt and leave minimal time on the clock. They should call a timeout right about now. 15 seconds left in the game. And out comes Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, please put that sucker in a coffin corner. Would you? We would all love it. Everybody's biting their nails and see how this goes. Oh, crazy. Now, I would like to think, what have you guys thought so far? This is, something pretty amazing so far that we're winning. And it looks like we may win this 5th game in a row. That will be something if that's the case. Absolutely something if that's the case. I would like to see if you're still there. Everybody's silent. Here we go. Got a remark, Sean. He's got no nails left to bite. I understand, brother. I understand. And people ask me, why do you drink so much, Dave? And I goes, because I'm a Vikings fan. 40 yards, cross the 50-yard line. Oh, great. Here we go. 6 seconds left. Saints have the ball approximately on the Vikings 47-ish. Let's see if Winston can launch this one up. Oh, it's still soothing, more soothing than Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. Chuck, first half was elite level. Second half, we don't know yet. Sean, everyone doubted us we could be in the Super Bowl. We are universally the best team in the NFC. I don't know about that, but we go. He launches a balloon ball, tapped. That's it. Ball game. Your Vikings win. Your Vikings win. Your Vikings win. Final score 27-19. The Vikings get another victory. That is 5 in a row. Cheers for Lord. Thank you for joining us. Yes, Scott, come on, Vikes. Yes, win, Mary, we win. We win another one. That moves the Vikings to what? 6-4 now. Yeah, baby. Keeping up with the kiddies. Kiddies better beware. We're coming for you here at the end of the season. Scott gives us a big thumbs up. Appreciate the optimism, Sean. Yeah, that too. Chuck, woohoo! Yes, absolutely. Hey, tequila, good tequila tonight. Let's drink it in celebration. What a good victory. Wish it wasn't so heart attack inducing, but it is what it is. Clifford, KOC went way too conservative in the second half. That very well may be the case. I can tell you for a fact that Justin, who's been in my chat all afternoon, was questioning a lot of those second half calls by him. It was absolutely crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I am going to remove my headset so I don't need any volume anymore and see what goes on. We are coming up, should have folks joining shortly, which will be a good thing. We want that. But the Vikings win, yes. Final score, Vikings 27, Saints 19. Joshua Dobbs on the day, 23 for 34 for 268 yards, 7.9 yard average. Dalton says, doesn't feel good about this. Well, Dalton, a dub's a dub. Whether you win pretty or win ugly, it's still a win. Rogers talking about that challenge was ridiculous. Yeah, well, I questioned it as soon as he threw the flag. But, hey, his challenges so far this year haven't been detrimental, but they haven't been great either. So we'll see. Dalton, everyone needs to learn how to deal with success. We're Vikings fans, Dalton. Give us time. Give us time. Now, I want to bring in my friend from over the pond, all the way in Germany. Jonas, how are you doing today?
I just have one question.
Okay.
Why does it always have to be like this?
Why can't we have good things? Yes.
Like, the thing is, we have like the most convincing lead you can have on halftime. They have everything under control. And even when the second half started, they still have everything under control. Yes, the offense got slowed down a little bit because the Vikings got a little bit more conservative, which is understandable since Joshua Dobbs still has been prone to give the ball away at times. So I get that. But then Derek Carr goes out with an injury, and suddenly the Saints upgrade at QB.
Yep. Well, when Carr went out and Winston came in. We know what happens when backup quarterbacks come in and play us. And it's, one of those things that why are backups and, kickers that are trying to make records for themselves so good against the Vikings? We don't know. Freddie, welcome to the show, my friend. Penalties and missed field goals. Yes, the weirdest things do happen. We don't know. Robert, glad for you to join us. Alejandra, Vikings dude. Yeah, laughing. Here we go. We did close it out, Sean. Yes, we did. Vikings live for fun football, or at least cardiac arrest football. I do believe there's a cartel of cardiologists in the Twin City area that are getting kickbacks from the team or something to explain all this. I don't know otherwise how you would explain it. So it's good. Now, what other impressions did you have of this game, Jonas?
Well, first of all, I think Mekhi Blackman was due for an interception for quite some time now. He has played very well as a rookie so far, and it was about time. And today he got it, and in the end, we still saw the old Jameis Winston break through. Especially that second pick was a bad throw that you just can't make. And it was good to see the Vikings cornerbacks coming up with those couple of picks, especially after those 2 touchdowns were so goddamn crazy. Because, especially that second one, no quarterback in his right mind is throwing that second touchdown. And somehow he gets away with that.
SKOL Mafia, welcome to the show. He thinks that Dobbs makes us dangerous. Do you agree?
I actually think that he gives us something that the Vikings have been missing. And it's not just about the mobility, but about the floor that he gives this offense with this mobility. Because now, when you don't get somebody open down the field, he can just tuck in and run, and he'll most of the time will get positive results of that. And that basically replaces that quick game, that those checkdowns that the Vikings had to make with Kirk Cousins. And because of that, now you
throw it out of bounds type stuff when things wasn't there. Yes.
Yep. And that just gives you a certain floor that you can rely on. And if things break down, you still have that. And the Vikings didn't have that with Cousins because the quick game wasn't always there. It was there in the last few games. So they kind of had that in the last few games. But you have to have that quick game if you don't have a mobile QB, and it wasn't there consistently. And this is something that Joshua Dobbs might give the Vikings, because with his legs, he basically replaces this need for a quick game. And now you suddenly have an offense that still can be very explosive at times, which they've shown, and they're going to get some playmakers back on this offense. They were still missing the number 1 and number 3 receivers, and were able to pull this off. And we saw Hockenson. He obviously was very hurt. I have a big respect for that dude to play through this and have a game like this. Man, that was some tough stuff he put up there, and I really respect that.
I don't know if you saw Rap. We named this the Joshua Dobbs Gang episode on the thumbnail. And yes, let's go. Now, I agree that his mobility helps. I think it's just a mental shift that we're seeing, and I think that's good. Now, I wish KOC would have kept the foot to the gas in the second half. He seemed to go conservative, which I understand. We had a 3-touchdown lead, but still, I want to put somebody away and put him away hard. especially when it comes to somebody like the Saints. We all love to beat the Saints. That's a good thing. Clifford says Dobbs' TD to Hockenson was beautiful. No one could have done it better. It was a beautiful throw, yes. Now, TJ Hockenson had a heck of a game. He had 134 yards. He had that one TD, and he was obviously playing hurt all day. Those ribs had to be sore. I said earlier in my chat that he needs to get first dibs on the treatment room as soon as they get done with, the post-game stuff, because he was obviously hurting today. Jim says 10-3 watching the Lions leading the Chargers. Hey, well, hopefully the Chargers can pull that one out and help us a bit. But we'll find out. Freddie, I'm surprised the remote control is still working. Hey, Freddie, I have a friend that used to throw it through the wall. Literally. He'd have patch marks where he'd pull it out and have to fix the wall. Right now, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Tyler Fornes, joining us to talk about what he saw today.
Man, what a weird game. I'm going to start. We're going to go negative to positive here. I was really disappointed in the second half from the Vikings from a coaching standpoint. It really felt like Kevin O'Connell just took the foot off the gas and decided to play comfortable rather than just continue to run the offense. And this is not necessarily a Kevin O'Connell thing. This is a coach thing. I'm not saying you have to run up the score, but there is no safe lead in this league. We've seen it time and time again. The Vikings made multiple comebacks last year with leads that felt safe. I was just really disappointed in how they approached the second half and didn't really try to put points on the board. That 4th and inches, and they punted it. The 4th and 3 at the end of the third quarter when they should have went for it and they had time to get a play ready to go, and they punted it. Settling for that field goal. No, that was the field goal, not the punt. It's just so frustrating that the dichotomy of the first and second half is due to how they approached the game. And like 10 receptions for 128 yards and a touchdown for TJ Hockenson. I'm looking it up right now. I think he had one catch in the second half. And I understand
I think it was one. Yeah.
Yeah, he had one catch for 6 yards in the second half. Like, what are we doing here? Just really frustrating to watch. But I will say O'Connell's play calling in the first half was tremendous. His game management was not. And the challenge on the Addison catch was dumb. And the only argument I've heard is, well, you're going to use a timeout anyway. Well, if you know you're going to lose the challenge, what's the point? It was blatantly out once he hit the ground. And then there was a challenge later in the half that he should have made, the Josh Dobbs extending for the first down. He probably wins that, but he's too gun shy because that'll be his last challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He probably makes that if he doesn't make that first challenge. So the way he managed the game and with those 4th down calls, just playing too conservatively, to me was really, really frustrating. And I hope we can learn from this, because this should have been like a 34-19 win, not a 27-19 win. And even though it's only 7 points in a game like this where the Saints are trying to come back and they have a live quarterback in Jameis Winston, you have to be better than that. You have to be better than that. And to me, it's just frustrating that they weren't. But I will say, I love the play calling in the first half. Josh Dobbs, what really impressed me was not his ability to scramble and do all those things outside of structure. That was great. It was how it led up to that. He was trying to win from the pocket before doing any of that. He was not bailing the pocket. He was trying to attack down the field with the passing game. When that wasn't there, he took off and he was doing those things and making special plays. That is awesome to see a quarterback that confident in his team, his offensive line, not crumbling to pressure. The Saints got one sack and it was that zero blitz where the Vikings had no hot route because everything was too far down the field and Madison had to stay in and block. That's a frustrating one, but you kind of live with a one-time occurrence rather than like a multiple like theme. Just this game was too close for comfort, and the Vikings should have capitalized. And to me, that's the frustrating part. And that's how, if they want to really be a contender here, which it's possible, the Saints always have weird games. They have all year. They got down 21-3 against the Jaguars, then they tied it and then lost by 7. So the way this game script went we've already seen the Saints lose these kind of games in this fashion. So just taking the foot off the gas to me is the main theme. O'Connell shouldn't have done it. Now, maybe you don't go all out aggressive, but you should still just run your offense, trust your quarterback, and give the Vikings some credit. First game all year where 1, nobody fumbled, and 2, they did not turn the ball over. That's important too. Mm-hmm. And hats off to the defense. They played really well. Danielle Hunter made $1 million with that sack today.
Yes, he did.
It's a good game. It's a very good game. And it's a 5th straight win, and it's really hard to complain. But if you want to take those next steps, you have to figure out what was wrong, where it went wrong, and how you can improve moving forward. And it's the game management. The game management almost cost the Vikings the game on multiple levels. And look, O'Connell's been great so far in his tenure. He is 19-8 as a head coach in the NFL, which is really, really good.
And you consider we started out 0-3 this season. So,
and here's the thing: if you just remove one of those fumbles in each of those games, the Vikings probably have 3 more wins, potentially 4 when you count the Kansas City Chiefs. They cost themselves all of those losses. They did not. They lost those games on their own versus being beat by those teams. And I think that's the most frustrating part. And it's not like those other teams didn't play well. They cost themselves those games. And now you have 4 losses. And you have tiebreakers over the Saints and over the Falcons. Huge. And you beat the 49ers. And if somehow the Seahawks get back into that division race, you have a wild card tiebreaker over the 49ers as well, even though the Niners torched the Jaguars. They made the Jaguars look like a JV team today. It was really, really bad.
Well, you got to remember, second tiebreaker is division record or conference record. And we're only 1 game back on a conference record from Philadelphia. We lead everybody in the conference for conference wins. This just adds to that, which is a great thing.
Yeah,
Freddie says, Packers. I have not looked, Freddie. What great news do you have for us? Oh, I see it now. Final. Pittsburgh, 23. Packers, 19. So, Vikings win, Packers lose. Does that make everybody feel better?
I mean, yeah, it always feels good if the Packers lose, but on the other hand, I don't want them in striking range for May or Williams, so at least give them a couple of games to get them out of there. So, because, I mean, they are due for a very long QB purgatory. They should get that, and so let's give them at least some wins. Doesn't have to be many, but at least some. And today might have been a day for that. So it's sweet, but maybe a little bittersweet.
I got a lot of friends from Fans First Sports Network that do the Steelers stuff, and I know they're going to be at least a little bit happier today now that they won. So that's good for them. But wow. And just to let you know, at the end of the first quarter, Detroit leads the Los Angeles Chargers 10-3. So.
Yeah, right before I jumped on, Jahmyr Gibbs ran one in for a touchdown on a really nice power play.
Okay, good. Freddie, yes, QB purgatory for the Packers would be a great thing. Most fans today are too young to remember when they lived in a QB purgatory prior to Brett Favre. It was a wonderful thing. Trust me, I was there. They're in the red zone too, according to Sean. Okay.
Yeah.
But hey, a win's a win. It's not as pretty as we liked. Started out great, but we held on. They did hold on. Lots of coaching, questionable stuff, but they held on. What do you think of the job Flores is doing so far, Tyler?
Look, I said before the year, one of my bold predictions for the Vikings season was that Flores would have the Vikings in the top 20 in either yards allowed or points allowed this season. Right now, I think it's both. And sometimes an elite play caller and schemer means more than the talent itself. And you can have a bad play caller and schemer and great players just bail you out. But if you are putting guys in positions to make plays, even if they're lesser players than what other teams have, that matters. And that's what Flores is doing. He is calling pretty masterful games. And even when plays work against like his blitzes or his coverages, that's not necessarily because they're bad play calls. You just get beat, and that's the nature of the league. There's been nothing about Brian Flores' play calling this year to me that's been egregiously bad. You can talk about the Chargers game and blitzing Justin Herbert 82% of the time. I actually agree with that logic. Make him make super fast decisions, and if he beats you, he played a great game and he just beats you.
And he did.
Yeah, and the Vikings had a chance to win that football game, and I think that kind of gets lost in translation a little bit. Brian Flores has been arguably the best assistant coach in football this year, or if he's not the best, he's in that conversation. I hope that he doesn't take a head coaching job this offseason. One, it feels like he's really happy here, and he's only going to get one more chance as a head coach. So he's going to have to be real selective and pick the right job and not just a job.
Yeah.
And two, he is suing the NFL, and that could prevent an owner from wanting to hire him as the head coach. It's different from being an assistant. And that's one of the reasons why, like with Eric Bieniemy, he has a lot of that off the field stuff from his time in Colorado, both as a player and a coach, where it's pretty rough. And you can justify taking that chance as a coordinator. It's a lot harder to convince ownership, like, we need to get this guy as our head coach, and he has this past. It doesn't matter how many years old that is. It's just one of the natures of it. And I think he ends up being the defensive coordinator next year, once he takes that head coaching job after the 2024 season, it's 2 third-round picks, one in each of the following 2 drafts. And that would be huge for the team building aspect for the Vikings. It's something that the 49ers have thrived on the past few years. It's how they acquired Chase Young, one of those picks. So, look, he's been great. Flores has been revolutionary, and it's just putting guys in positions to succeed, and they're thriving in how he's playing defense, and I think that matters.
Yeah, I do too. I like it. I like what he's doing. I like he's developed the chemistry and the communication between everybody, because he doesn't, rely on just a certain few people. He's putting in a lot of people. We saw a lot of black men today. And I love the way that he's developing the defensive side of the ball. And it's a good thing. I'm glad we have him, or we wouldn't be at 6-4 right now, without a doubt. Jonas, next week on Sunday night, we travel to Denver to play the Broncos. First off, are you going to stay up for that game?
Of course. I stayed up for that Sean Mannion Packers game. I'm going to stay up for everything.
Okay.
What time did that game start for you, Jonas? Is that 2 or 3 a.m. kick?
2:20 a.m.
Ooh. Look, I understand how he feels, because every January 4th, I wake up at 2 a.m. to watch New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom live, because that's when it starts Central Time here in the States. So I get it. It's not a fun way to live, but when you love something, I respect the hell out of it.
That's cool.
I'm used to it by now. I mean, I've been watching the Vikings for some years, I would say, and I've been doing this for all the time, so I'm used to it. I know my ways to I know my ways to do it, so yeah, it works.
Okay. That's hey, if it works, I've worked around the clock, so I know how that goes. But I'm glad you'll be able to stay up for that game. It should be an interesting one. I would suspect the Vikings would be favored, but I don't know yet, and I haven't looked. The early line should be out already, but because Denver is. But anyways, any last words you find, gentlemen? Jonas?
Yeah. Was a good way to cap off a very busy week. I'm hoping next week is going to be a little bit less busy, so I can lean back at least a little bit. I hope to relax a little bit today. Vikings had other plans, obviously, because they always do. But, I'll take it.
Okay, good. Tyler, what have you got planned besides writing a lot till your fingers bleed?
I got a lot of post-game stuff coming, and just we're gonna have a lot tomorrow night on the Real Forno show. Just an absolutely wild and incredibly fun football game today, and you have to consider Kevin O'Connell the front runner for Coach of the Year right now. I don't think there's anybody who's done a better job, and it's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, but he's got to get far in the playoffs to win that. Generally,
no, it doesn't. The Coach of the Year ballots have to be, all those awards are finalized before Wild Card Weekend. Playoffs don't matter.
Okay,
yep. They get announced like the weekend of the Super Bowl, but that's just so they can do their award ceremony. Everything's voted on before Wild Card Weekend to make it, I guess, quote unquote, fair. I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to do it, but it's how they do it. So
it's better than it was, because before it was you had to win a bunch of playoff games to even be considered, even if you were the best one prior to that. So good. Let's see how that changes.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you at Vikings First and SKOL, we'll put this show out on podcast for those that have to catch it via audio. They'll have this one, and then tomorrow we get ready for Tyler's the Real Fornos show live at 6 p.m. Central, and Tyler will have fun going over this game with a day's worth of reflection and getting to see some grades and looking at some tape some more. It should be fun. It should be a blast. And remember, folks, we're 6-4 after 10 games. Even with those going on 3 at the start, we're 6-4. That's pretty good for your Minnesota Vikings.
It's awesome.
What do we say, Jonas?
SKOL Vikings.
Hell yeah. SKOL Vikings, baby.
Oh, thank everybody for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and SKOL Vikings! Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and share this episode with your friends and even your enemies. We'd love it. Thanks for watching Vikings First and SKOL. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we appreciate each and every one of you. SKOL.